Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and all of you potential Toastmasters out there. Welcome to the show. This is Wake Up with Toastmasters. I am your program quality director. Sorry about that. My chair got stuck on the rug. Anyway, I am your program quality director, Ken Richardson, and with me today is my lovely co-host, distinguished Toastmaster, past district director, Phyllis Tribby. How you doing, Phyllis?
I am sensational. And good morning to our public out there. We're so happy that you joined us. Please make a comment, whether you're joining us during these 30 minutes or anytime during the day, the week, it will be read. And if you have questions, ask them. We will check them out and give you an answer.
Absolutely. And you can also send me an email. There's my email address on the screen, krichardson@gmail.com. And I will be happy to answer your questions. Now, what I want to do today, Phyllis, we may have some time to do more than one thing, so we always prepare a little extra stuff, but I want to talk about women.
Yay for women!
Yay for women!
We're taking over!
Exactly. Men have lost control. I don't know how it happened, but somewhere along the way we tripped up, and we probably deserve it because clearly we've screwed up along the way. It's interesting that this is International Women's History Month, and yesterday was International Women's Day. So that made me think about surprisingly how it has not been that long. In Toastmasters admitted women as full members in 1973, so like 50 years ago, which to me, now that I'm a little older, you say, oh, well, that was 50 years ago.
What that means is that Toastmasters was male only for 50 years.
Exactly.
Before they got the idea that women could handle these jobs.
Exactly. And it's so true that the other organization that I'm very much involved in my retiring years is the Lions Club, which is a large service organization, sort of like Rotary or Kiwanis. And they didn't admit women until around 1978. So it's interesting that here we are in 2023, and there are still equality issues between men and women that have yet to be resolved. And yet, as you and I were talking about before the show started, there has been so much progress. I did a little bit of research. I don't have a PowerPoint today, so don't freak out.
Oh my!
I probably should have put one together. But Jan and I went to to a concert last night, so I didn't really have time to get it sorted out. But anyway, Women's History Day was first celebrated in 1909. Can you believe that? 1909, according to Google. It became a holiday, March 8th, in 1911. Then
that's a long time for women to have worked to get some equality, even if it's not total. It's exactly. Like 80%. We're coming along.
We are getting there, but it's just a long
time.
I know, and I don't understand why it has taken so long. Because among the things, well, let me just finish the history of this month. In 1978, Women's History Day turned into a week. It became a week in March. And then in 1987, it was extended to a month. So Women's History Month is now the month of March. March 8th is Women's History Day. But as you and I were talking before we went live on Facebook, there's a lot of progress that has been made that isn't generally acknowledged. For example, I came across a stat on medical schools, and there are now more women enrolled in medical schools than men. I was surprised at that, and then I got to thinking, as I said, when you're my age, you start collecting doctors. We used to be stamp collectors and coin collectors.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Now let's see. We've got orthopedists. We've got cardiologists. But my two main doctors are both female. And I hadn't really considered that, but my primary care doctor, who I've been with for many years, is a woman, and my cardiologist is also a female. And I really hadn't thought about it in terms of the history of women in medicine or women in Toastmasters, or the role of equality that women have moved through. So I wanted, there's a so, I hope we don't have an out counter out there.
There are a lot of them.
So I wanted to show folks that Toastmasters has not ignored the history there. Let me see if I've got this where I want it to be. I'm going to pull up the, where's my website?
Your share screen.
Yeah, hold on a minute, because it's not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, just as soon as we see it, we'll note that you have 20 items open.
Well, I have a touch of ADHD coupled with OCD, and what happens is
So what you're saying is, if you don't leave them open, you forget to take care of the work.
Exactly. So let me see if I can share this. Here we go. There we are. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
I can see it.
Well, I want to show you some interesting things that popped up. We're going to start with the magazine. So if you are on the website, look across the upper menu options and stop on magazine and click that. And it'll take you to the home page for the magazine. And this is the current edition. You can see there's lots of great stuff there. Online meetings, we've been talking about that. And this Saturday, we're going to have a guest speaker at Educational Enrichment from District 55 in Texas. He is their hybrid meeting guru, but there's also an article here in the newsletter. But if you scroll down a little bit to editor's picks, you'll see that on the right here is Women in Toastmasters. So select that. And voila, 50 years since women were allowed membership in Toastmasters. And here you will recognize at least one of the ladies in this photo. On the right, at least my right, is Pat Johnson right here in the red dress. And Pat is, of course, a past international president. I think it's 2010 through 2011, she was international president. And she's going to be one of our speakers at our conference in May 6th. Pat is going to come and talk about leadership. More importantly, Helen Blanchard, over here on the left, she was the first female president of Toastmasters International, and that was in 1985, 1986. And then next to her is Pauline Shirley, 1994 to 95, Jana Barnhill, 2008, 2009. And as I mentioned, 2010 through 2011, Pat Johnson. What's fascinating about this, and I hope folks will go and read this story. Excuse me, I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll just tell you a little bit about how things were prior to 1973. Women had formed unofficial clubs, Toastmistress, it was called, I think. And that was the mechanism for women to be a part of the Toastmasters experience, but it was totally unofficial. And Helen Blanchard was encouraged to join a club, I think it was in San Diego, and she changed her name to Homer on her application so that it would not be noticed that her real name was Helen, so that she could, as a woman, apply and become a member of the club under an assumed name. I just found that fascinating that as late as 1973, because the 60s and 70s. That's my era when I grew up. And it just seems like it wasn't that long ago. How about your experience, Phyllis? When did you join Toastmasters? I know you've been in about 25 years, maybe?
Yeah, I joined in 97. And I was just realizing that I have a guest that I really want to bring on the show that actually joined in 78. So she's here and she's a member of Windjammers, Lee Horner. So I'd like to get her in, and maybe she met all these people. I, of course, have met Helen. She was a keynote speaker when I was district governor. Jana, being a international president during the time when I was doing my training in the top 3, I met Jana quite frequently because she would be a trainer. And of course, Pat, I know as the international president when I was district governor. So all of these women, other than Pauline, I've not met her, but they are delightful. They're knowledgeable and they're supportive and they want to help you just like all Toastmasters do. But they're even more gung-ho for supporting each and every woman that's coming up along the way.
Now, did you feel that there was discrimination within Toastmasters when you were coming up through the ranks?
When you're doing the program, I don't really think that you think about that. I was just interested in getting the next speech in and the support that I got from my club. And then, as I say, the second time I was an area director, I went to a training meeting in January, where they said they didn't have anybody to run for marketing, which is club growth director nowadays. And so I asked someone if they thought that I could do the job. And another woman come over and she said, well, it's about time that you volunteered. We have been waiting for you. And I was just surprised that someone already thought that I could do this job, but they wanted me to think that I could do it. They wanted that I should, get the idea myself, and then they would support me. They didn't want to push me into it till I thought I was ready. So I was just kind of amazed. The chairman at that time of the nominating committee was a male, and he was thrilled to take my application and tell me everything I needed to know. So I didn't see any discrimination at all. I mean, I didn't feel it. Whatever it is, maybe in my background, but I thought it was, I just didn't see that happening in Toastmasters.
Well, that's good to hear, because I would find that very disturbing if it were. I got
another cute little story.
Okay,
at that time, each club got 2 votes, and anybody in the club that was going to the district conference could carry those 2 votes for the business meeting. And I had a group of 4 friends, 2 couples, and the one guy said, we have got, and he said, we've got 24 votes lined up for you. They went out and arranged so that, the person here could carry these 2 and that person could carry those. So they had arranged for me to get that many votes.
Well, I want to say that I'm very glad for the change. I think it's been much better for Toastmasters. And also I want to mention, if you saw my screen go a little crazy, I had a technical glitch that I was trying to fix. So it was going a little nuts there for a moment, but I think we're good now. We're back to where it needs to be. No doubt it's operator error that I hit the wrong button. I do want to encourage our viewers to please take a look at this article and learn something about the history about Helen Blanchard. And let's see, I believe that she passed away. She died, yes, it tells you here. She died in 2013, but this story is really, really interesting about the history of Toastmasters and what women had to go through. You can see here in the 60s, it talks about women's auxiliary clubs. So sort of like, well, you're not quite good enough to be a Toastmaster, but let me hook you up here. So now let me show you.
I think 1930 is kind of like early too for the Toastmasters. I had not heard that term before nor knew about this, but that's interesting too. They didn't take long. If we started in Toastmasters in 23, 7 years later, they decided, yeah, it's good information. We're going to take it.
Yes, exactly. In the 30s, you're right. You're seeing the screen there. Women formed a parallel independent organization called International Toast Mistresses Clubs. They identified themselves as wives and sweethearts, but this is a great glimpse into the history of women in Toastmasters. And one of the other things I want to show is how that impact is translated. I'm going under the resource tab. And as you scroll down, let's make sure that's showing up. Go to the Statistics and Data Hub and click on that. Now, this is a wealth of information. If you like to do research, if you want to talk about looking for something for your speech, this is fantastic. So there are member demographics, member satisfaction surveys, alumni surveys, fact sheet. I think this is the one, Toastmaster demographics right here. Let me see if I can pull that up. There we go. Now this is a snapshot of what Toastmasters looks like at the end of November. So they do update this frequently. So this is 2022 information. And I want you to look down here in the right-hand side. 56% of our members are female, 44% male. There's lots of interesting information in this snapshot. But since we were talking about women's history, I wanted to focus on that and show you how to find the data that will allow you to do a deeper dive into what we're talking about. And this is a great way to start with this snapshot. And then you can break it down. I'll go back and show you by region around the world. And they have color-coded maps. But just this snapshot, 56% female and 44% male. And our average age overall is 47, almost 47 and a half years of age. I was surprised by that. Does that surprise you, Phyllis?
No, not really. I would have thought maybe a couple years older than that, but not really, because most of the people I see look to me like they're in their 50s. I know I'm quite old, but they do. Maybe they look younger than they are, but that's kind of what I see is really they're either getting close to it or they're a little over it. So I'm thinking, yes, that's probably right for me.
Does the fact that we are now 56% female in terms of, does that surprise you at all?
Well, I've been noticing that at our group meetings, like Saturday, that there were many males there, but you could still see that the females were ahead. It looked like there were more females there than males.
That's interesting. I wonder, what do you think? What do you think is happening? Or I mean, I'm not sad about it, but I'm surprised that we don't have, I mean, that's a 6-point difference, I'm sorry, 44 and 56% there. So that's a pretty broad, that's more than 10 points, 12 points different in genders. What do you think's happening? What's causing this? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, maybe it's the fact that women can see the good that comes out of it, that they're willing to add it to their resume where maybe a man wouldn't be. I don't know. I just know that in the clubs, like I have one club has more males in it than females. My other club, poor guy Dawson has been the single male there for quite some time. He now has a buddy, we now
Okay.
have two males. But other than women are willing to make the time, maybe women have the time, maybe more women are entrepreneurs and want to use Toastmasters to gain strength in their speaking skills. It's hard to tell. Maybe it's the fact. Is there more females in the world than there are males? I understand there are. So maybe it's to say maybe this demographic just reflects the world at large.
I'll have to look that up and just look at statistics.
Yeah.
I want to go back now for a moment. I'll show you that we've looked at this so you can find that, but even more information can show you, like over here on this side, membership demographics. The left side is called infographics. So you get these summaries. And if you look down here, this is from 2021, proportion of members who are female. Now, so if you click on that, what you're going to get is a different slice of the pie. This is sort of a world view. And if you notice, the dark burgundy, one of the colors of the Toastmasters rainbow, in South America, greater than 65% are female. And in the United States, there's a little strip along here on the Atlantic coast. There's Florida and going up through, looks like Mississippi, Georgia, maybe Louisiana, portions of Louisiana, is also more than 65% female. In our neck of the woods, and these maps they're not exact, they don't follow the states, of course, because the regions are overlapping, and this is a regional map. So up here in our neck of the woods near California and the Pacific coast, we are in the 56 to 60% range. Other parts of the world, of course, in Africa, it's less than 45%. I think if I get my colors right here, or 45% to 50%. And here, which I think is that India?
Yes, that is India.
Yeah, it's less than 45% female. So I like this map because if you go from the one we just previously looked at to this one, you get a different kind of snapshot of how the world looks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I'm looking at India, and is it India more that men are in this group because they are the workers rather than the women going out and holding corporate jobs?
That may well be. That may well be because various parts of the world, and even the United States, there's the cultural notion that women are to stay at home and they're not out in the workforce and that kind of thing. So we may be seeing some of that reflected here. We could do, we don't have time today, but we could do an analysis of that and sort of get a feel for where that is. But what my takeaway message for our viewers here is, go look at the magazine and read some of the information there and do a deeper dive. I'm going to stop sharing now and do a deeper dive into the world of Toastmasters, the world that you have chosen to become part of. And I know a lot of folks have had issues with the website, shall we say. I'm having trouble now getting I have a brand new member in my home club, and we're having a little difficulty getting him online and what have you. So I don't know what's going on there, but Certainly the website has had a few issues, shall we say, in recent times, but it is still a wealth of information if you want to learn more about the organization. And hopefully our show has helped people learn to navigate it just a little bit better. There is, in case you're wondering, a section on the new payment system. And it's very, very easy to use and intuitive to use. But your officers have to go in and enable self-pay. And then when it pops up, you just click on it and you can go ahead and pay your dues directly. Now, the good thing about that, and I think because some people say, oh, I don't really want to change because we still have to collect club dues and that kind of thing. But my response to that is, well, if we're at March 30th or March 29th, the deadline being March 31st, and you have a member out of town and you're at 7 members, that 8th member can go online and pay and keep you in compliance and good standing. So I think it's just another thing we're going to have to sort of get used to. Of course, if you've been a club officer, you've had access to that capability for some time, but don't let that discourage you.
I got 2 emails from Toastmasters International stating that the club information had been updated. And I would love for them to tell me who updated it. Because when I read the information, both of the emails were the same. Both of them had the wrong phone number.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, 1702. Well, the 7 was missing.
Oh.
And I'd like to know who it was that went in there and changed that. Because as far as I know, there's just one other person, and it's his phone number. So I would think he would know what it was. And why would he have updated twice? That doesn't make any sense. He knows that I'll go in and check all these things. And so as soon as it came to me, I went into International and, and changed the information. And then I got another thing from International stating it had been updated and it was correct. But it would be very nice if they would say by the president or by the secretary.
Yeah, because there's a feature in like Free Toast Host, when there's a change in the agenda, I'm the president of my club, so I get notified. Mm-hmm. So it says, hey, just letting you know a role has changed, so-and-so signed up for this role at your next meeting or whatever it might be. But yeah, there's no question that there still are some deficiencies in the website. I don't know that there's a website in the world that is perfect. And the TI website is so comprehensive. It's hard to imagine getting it perfect. I mean, I guess, so I think we're always going to be focused, as I always like to say, perfection is an unobtainable state. However, it's important that we keep moving towards it in all that we do.
Just like to know whether or not it's been hacked, if that's possible.
Yes.
I have no reason why anything would ever be changed because it's been the same for years.
Well, I think that's, that's a legitimate concern, and you could probably talk to the folks at Toastmasters. Well, I think we are almost at.
Send out all those emails telling you that it's been updated.
Exactly. Find out who did, see if they can track it. I bet they can at that level. They can probably tell you. Well, it is 6:29, so we are about ready to wrap it up. I do want to, again, acknowledge the importance of women in Toastmasters on their special day, even though it was yesterday. We do have the rest of the month that we can celebrate women. So thank you, everyone, for watching the show. Hopefully it enlightened you a little bit and entertained you a lot. I know Phyllis and I had a lot of fun doing it. In terms of announcements, I want to remind everyone that Educational Enrichment Night is this Saturday at 6 p.m. We have a guest who's going to come and talk, Kyle Mitchell from District 55, which is Texas, is going to come and talk about hybrid meetings. He is their guru, if you will, on hybrid meetings. He's going to give us a best practices overview. And of course, we'll have a new member orientation, introduction to pathways. We'll also have a feature. Gene Williams is going to be speaking about leadership opportunities and becoming a leader at Beyond the Club. In Toastmasters, we are in the cycle right now where we are recruiting leaders for the coming year, which begins July 1. And then, of course, game night is the last Saturday of the month. If you'd like any information on any of these events, please send me an email, krichardsonlvnb@gmail.com. Anything you'd like to say, Phyllis, before we wrap it up?
Well, I would like to tell our members that hybrid clubs, I believe, are here to stay. If you are a Zoom only now and eventually want to go to a hybrid club, this is going to be a good meeting for you. If you're already a hybrid club, why not learn the best practices? Maybe there's something this person does that you do not currently do that would help you. Maybe you're a new sergeant at arms and it's your turn to set up the room for a hybrid. Whatever it may be, learn more about hybrid clubs. Maybe you're just the person that sits in the audience and tells others how to do the work. Whatever, hybrid clubs are here to stay. Go and find out more about them.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think the more we learn, the better we're going to get over time.
Yeah.
Because it's a learning process. And going forward, it's part of our Toastmaster experience. And it's something that will benefit us outside of the world of Toastmasters. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in today, or if you're watching later, thank you for watching this video. We will be back here on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.